So I had a client come in this week and I thought sharing a piece of that discussion might be helpful for you. It took me a little bit by surprise when she walked in and she said, I would really like to talk about acceptance this week. And my mind started racing a little bit. I said, say more about that. Are we talking about acceptance of our past? Are we talking about acceptance of what is? And as I was asking these questions and playing with this in my mind, there were a couple of things that occurred to me. And I wanted to share it with you because I think it might be helpful for you as well. So the first thing that occurred to me when she talked about acceptance is that typically when we accept something, it's because we trust the other person or we trust ourselves and we trust our own perception. If you are a survivor of complex trauma, that is likely not true, especially if it is childhood abuse or childhood neglect. There was always gaslighting. I know some of the things I heard growing up is you are acting like a victim, you're too stupid to understand. That didn't really happen. That was a real common one, especially when I was young and in the workforce. And because it becomes so common and so repetitive, we find it hard to actually trust ourselves. And then the next piece of that is a little something known as confirmation bias. So you probably have already heard of this, but just in case you have not, what we do when we have a belief ingrained in our system is we will look for any evidence in our environment to prove that belief correct. So if we think that we do exaggerate things, if we're taught that we do act like a victim, there might be 19 things that show us that is not true and one thing that shows us it is true, and we will hone in with everything we have on that one thing. So one of the tools, if you're early in recovery, and let me be really honest, this is the work. Learning to trust yourself, learning to trust your perceptions, understanding that you were gaslit from a very young age, that is the work. So if we can start to look at our environment and focus on those 19 things, and I mean really focus on them, write them down, praise ourselves, reward ourselves when we notice that. And it takes a lot because many times we won't even speak up because we're anticipating somebody getting mad at us, yelling at us, telling us we're wrong, telling us we're stupid. So in order to speak up and share our truth and share it confidently, it's a really long runway. And I'll be honest, that is the work. But if you can notice when you have done that, write it down. You can call it a win book. Maybe there's something small that you wanted to buy yourself as a reward. This is how we can shift from not trusting ourselves into a place where we are confident in our own perceptions and we believe us. Number 2, the other piece with acceptance is it is often tagged with forgiveness. And people misunderstand forgiveness. I actually don't like that word. I think I like acceptance more than forgiveness because there's this connotation. If I forgive you, then that means everything you did was okay. And it is absolutely not. But here's the starting point, and I'll talk to you about the finish point as well. One of my favorite definitions of forgiveness is by T.D. Jakes. And he says, forgiveness is accepting that the past cannot be different. And when I first heard that, probably a decade ago now, it really struck me because I used to relive scenarios in my head from my childhood, from my past. How could I have done this differently? Oh, I wish I had done this. I wish I had said this. I wish I hadn't shown up there. I wish I had gone to this instead, and would beat myself up for things that I had no control over and could not change. But once we accept that the past is the past and we cannot change it, and we let go of this idea that there was something more we could have done, there was something more we could have controlled, that lets us move into the next stage. And the next stage for me was understanding that two things can be true simultaneously. That someone could have been abusive and horrible, but they could also be doing the best that they could. And let me emphasize this point. Just because somebody is doing their best does not mean that what they did was okay. But when we can accept that this was all they had to give, it was abusive, it was awful, it was neglectful, whatever the truth might be for you, that can live in the same house with, and it was not okay. And by accepting that, it doesn't mean we're going to go to Thanksgiving dinner with them. It doesn't mean we may ever speak to them again. But what it is meant to do is give us a sense of calm and give us a sense of peace so that we can let go and we can move forward. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what questions you have in the comments.